Hi and welcome to the Online Course Creator Show. I'm your host, Lou Blakely, and it is so good to be back with episode 91 today. At the moment, I am on the road, so I usually live in Brisbane, Australia, and at the moment I am in central Otago in New Zealand. So I'm just outside of Arrowtown in the country with a really nice view out of my window. We're staying in a house that has like a really good office, so I'm loving that. I'm going to sit here for the next few hours and record some episodes, so I really hope the sound quality is good. And I also love that I can do this, right? And I think that is such a big part of the types of business that I talk about, like creating online courses, creating scalable offers. A really great thing about it is that we can work from anywhere in the world. And this is me really putting that into practice. And it's not something that I have done a lot of, to be honest, because I have been creating the freedom in my business a lot more. I started this business in 2013 and it's seen many different iterations. And I really started doing the more scalable offers from around 2017. And in that time, it was more so that I could have time freedom, so that I could have a lot of time off, so I could have the time to look after my health, because I went through a really big phase of burnout, which a lot of that was created from the one-on-one model, which I'm going to be speaking a lot more about today. But a lot of the reason I did it was so that I could have that time to focus on my health, but also so that I could be around for my child who, is obviously busy with school and all of that kind of thing. And, was really active as a mum, and I still am, of course. But since my son's turned 18, I'm thinking, you know what, it's time to take this business on the road. So this is something that you will see me doing a lot more of. And maybe that's something that you want to do a lot more of as well. And I'm here to share the journey, and maybe I'll do an episode on this. But I'm a week into my trip, and I have to say, there are certainly some challenges I have faced with working while being on the road. And I have actually been quite settled in one place. I'm actually in like the second place location since I have been here. And in a couple of days' time, we're moving to a third location. So the challenges really have been, I think, that if you are doing business while on the road, you absolutely have to prioritize that time. And when you're around extended family, then that is going to be more difficult than, say, if you were by yourself or in just you and your partner, or if you were with your own little family, like your own partner and kids, that kind of thing. I think when you're around, obviously I'm from New Zealand, so I've come over here to spend time with my parents, which is awesome. Like, that is actually the reason why I'm over here, is to spend as much time with them as I possibly can. And having the freedom to do that is a huge plus of having this kind of business. But, you've got a lot more people saying, oh, come and do this, come and do that. And you really have to prioritize it. And that's something I really haven't been good at in the first week. But here we are. I found an amazing office to spend the next few hours, and I'm actually really excited to be able to have the time to get into the business again. And, I've got lots of things coming up, and I have got to the point, where my business is a huge priority for me right now. And it hasn't always been that way when I've been prioritizing my health, prioritizing my family at times. And right now is the season where I'm absolutely prioritizing my business. And being able to still do these things and have the freedom to go to another country and travel, whatever that looks like for you, and still be able to have a flourishing business, I think is one of the reasons why I do this and why I care so deeply about helping others do this as well, because that's the type of freedom I want. And of course, it's not always going to be easy. And it's learning, right? Like, I haven't done that much travel while also running my business actively day in, day out. So this is a learning curve for me, and I'm going to share with you how it goes along the way. Now, I'm really, really excited about today's topic. And the reason is because I think that one-on-one work can feel like a trap for many, many people. And this is something that I have personally experienced myself. So everything I'm sharing with you today is from lived experience. However, I have also worked with so many clients who have experienced very similar things. And as you listen today, if you are someone who does one-on-one work, whether that's providing done-for-you services or coaching, one-on-one coaching, whatever that looks like, could even be that you have a more physical job where people are coming to see you every day and you've got back-to-back appointments, I would also consider that to be in this realm, right? So I have worked with a lot of people in this space, and what happens is the same things come up again and again, which is why I wanted to record this episode, which is all about, is your one-on-one work holding you back? Because the thing is, sometimes it's not holding you back, but for some people, one-on-one work absolutely works for them on multiple levels, and that is great. Okay, so for you, this is not so much of an issue. However, there are a portion of us where one-on-one work is definitely holding us back, and I would put myself in that camp from when I used to run my marketing agency. 100% it was holding me back from what I really wanted. But back then I didn't really know that, okay? So today I'm going to be talking you through different things that you may be experiencing that is a clear sign that it is holding you back. So like I mentioned before, what I'm sharing with you today is my lived experience. So I have actually been through this. However, it's also from patterns, recurring patterns that I regularly see with clients that I work with. So if you think that this may be an issue for you and you clicked on this episode, then I encourage you to sign up to my free email series, the Freedom Roadmap, where I share the 5 simple steps that I took to go from the endless cycle of one-on-one client work to online courses without losing a dime and gaining my time and freedom back. If that is something that you want to know how I did that, then just go to loublakely.com/freedom to sign up now. It's an email series that's free, that's delivered over 5 days, and I dive deep into the exact process I took to successfully make the transition from this busy one-on-one business model to a more freedom-based business model with scalable online courses. So pop over to loublakely.com/freedom to sign up for that now. Now, when it comes to one-on-one work, there's definitely something to be said that it's not, one-on-one work is not holding everyone back. Okay, for some people, it's like their dream business model. However, what I'm going to share with you today are the signs that it's not actually working that well for you, and there is going to be a better way for you, a better business model that is actually going to serve you better. Now, a real big problem that I've noticed with female service providers and also my past self is that we get so busy running these businesses. They look so successful on the outside. We often have people telling us how well we've done to build this business. But internally, we're overworked. We're so busy making sure that everyone else is happy that often it's us that miss out on the good stuff. And this can be really hard to admit to ourselves when we have built something that is successful. That maybe what you've built doesn't actually feel that good for you, and you actually thought the benefits were going to be better by now, and how it's panned out is actually not how you thought it would look. And, you're wondering if there's something better out there. And if this is you and you're listening to this podcast, then obviously you are attracted to creating a more scalable business model with online courses and other digital products. So what are the signs that your one-on-one work is holding you back? The first one is that you feel like you're busy building everyone else's dreams, but not your own. This is really common when you are doing client work, done for you work, and people are actually paying you to do the work. So you have the expertise that they potentially don't have, or it might be that they simply don't have the time and they don't want to spend their time doing that. So they give it to someone else to do for them instead because it's not something they're interested in doing. They don't want to do it. They may find it too boring. It may be below their pay grade. Or on the flip side of that, it could be that they simply don't have the expertise. If you're a consultant, possibly getting paid a much higher amount, then that would be the case for you. However, even if you are the highly sought after expert and you're getting paid well, it can still feel like you are spending all of your time creating the dreams of someone else rather than yourself. Now, when I think about this concept, it's actually very similar to how you will often feel as an employee, as someone who has dreams of running your own business, creating your own freedom. When you're an employee and you're sitting at a desk working from 9 to 5, you can often feel trapped and like you're building someone else's freedom, joy, business, all of that stuff while you're just simply getting a paycheck. And that is how it can really feel when you're doing one-on-one work as well. So if you feel like that and you have built a successful one-on-one based business, then that is definitely a sign that it's holding you back. Now, the second sign is that your days are spent managing other people and not being able to do the work that you love. Now, this can happen if you do start to scale your one-on-one business. Maybe it's an agency where you will start to hire staff to also deliver similar services to what you do so that then you can scale, because that is how you scale that kind of business, right? When I had my marketing agency, I actually hired staff. I had people working for me that were delivering services for my clients. I also outsourced to other various people. I had, for bigger projects, I had graphic designers and web developers, web designers, copywriters, and I actually became the cog in the machine in terms of the project manager. And I was managing a lot of different people, yet I never had the time to work on my own business. So again, I was working on these projects for clients, and part of me really, really loved that. But over time, I started to realize I'm not building this thing for me here. I'm actually still very much in the phase of building someone else's dreams, and I am doing the work that they didn't have the skill or know-how or desire to do, really. So I was spending my days managing other people and not even getting the chance to do the work that I really love because I simply didn't have the time. And in a lot of those situations, I did not have the time to even do the own promotion and marketing of my own business as well, because I always prioritize the client work over what my own business needed, which is another really common mistake. Now, the third sign is that your calendar is always full, and all of that is focused on delivering for other people. So it could be back-to-back calls, it could be coaching calls where you're actually meeting with your clients, it could be that you're meeting with your team, whatever that looks like. And you have thought about creating your own thing, your own project, your own scalable digital product or online course, but you also know that you do not have the bandwidth, the energy, all the time. Like, if you have a full calendar and that is what is required to run your business, then where are you actually meant to pull the time from to create what you really want? Now, another sign that your one-on-one business is holding you back is that you regularly go over time with your one-on-one sessions. Now, this is a really, really easy thing to do. And if it repeats over and over again, which for a lot of us it does, then it is absolutely at the detriment of building the business that is truly going to give you the financial freedom and the time freedom that you really want. Now, going over time with sessions and spending time with clients, now this could be in a coaching situation where you're actually having a coaching call with a client, but it could also happen where you're working on a client project and you are spending hours above and beyond what was actually agreed to, and you're not getting paid for that. So a lot of this comes down to people pleasing, it comes down to boundaries, but it also comes down to scope and over delivering beyond the scope. It's called scope creep. Okay, so it's like when you agree to a project, the certain parameters that you have to do, but for whatever reason, and quite often this is perfectionism on your part because you're the expert and you know there's actually more that needs to be done, that you actually spend so much unpaid time where you're getting literally no reward. You're giving all your time and energy away to your client that they're not paying for, yet you feel like you absolutely have to deliver. That is going to kill your business in the long term. So if you are providing one-on-one services, whatever format that looks like, whether it's done for you or coaching, you absolutely need to get a handle on this. But it can also be a sign that you do have, maybe this isn't the right business model for you, and you could actually benefit from having a more hands-off business model where you don't have to spend this time. Like, if that sounds really attractive to you, whether you want to admit it or not, then it's definitely time to create a online course or a group coaching program or something like that where there is going to be that separation. And yes, I also highly recommend that you look at those boundaries, you look at where you're people pleasing, and you look at your systems and operations to actually figure out a way that maybe you could still deliver those services, but be able to have those boundaries, which in turn is going to mean that you actually make a profit from your services rather than giving all of your time away for free. Now, the next sign, and this is very much tied in with what I just shared, but it is that you love to help all the people and you love to go above and beyond and really please your clients, but you do this to the detriment of yourself, and you know that. You may even do it to the detriment of your family, and this is something that every single person I've ever worked with, we all have this in common, is that we love helping people, which is why we even started these businesses, and we love to go above and beyond. And quite often the least important person in our mind is ourselves, and this does not work out well in the long run. It could also be that you are so busy with all of your client work that you're working nights and weekends, you have a lack of energy to really show up for yourself, your health starts to deteriorate, your family start to feel like they get no attention from you. I know this is all stuff that I really used to do, and I didn't really realize it, but it does long-term damage. And obviously I ended up having that burnout journey, which involved a lot of health issues. So I think, sure, it's nice to operate like this if you want to for a short period, but where are you going to draw the line in the sand? Because nobody can keep operating from this place where you are over-delivering at the detriment of yourself. For me, this meant that I had to completely walk away from the business model, and that has been the best thing for me. It has been absolutely amazing. And a lot of that had to come back to being brutally honest with myself that actually I prefer a business where I'm building exactly what I want, and I don't actually have to do what anyone else asks of me, says of me. And when you've got a client-based business in terms of providing services, that is something that you may not want to admit to yourself or to anyone else. But I have to say, on the other side of this, I just couldn't even go back to that. Now, the next sign is that you often run out of energy to work on the projects that you know are going to take you and your business to the next level, that are going to allow you to reach a lot more people and create that limitless income. But right now they are being treated like passion projects. They are on the end of your to-do list because you have to deal or help all of your clients first, and you have no time. So they are at the bottom of the list. And what do you think happens when they're in the bottom of the list? They get no attention, no time, no energy given to them at all. Therefore, they do not happen. Now, if you are someone who has wanted to create an online course, and it is always like that's the next year thing, and now that it's kind of the start of the year, right now when I'm recording this, it's February, right? So we're still at the start of the year. You might be thinking that's something I'm going to do later in the year, but how many years has this happened? How many years have you said that to yourself? Are you going to get to June and be like, you know what, I'm so busy with all of the stuff that I've got going on, that's going to be a 2026 thing? If you keep putting the things that you really want to do that you know are going to absolutely change the game and create that life that you really want to live and create that business that you truly, truly want to have, they cannot be at the bottom of the list. You cannot put all of your clients before your dream projects. You just can't. You have to prioritize them. So if you are putting your dream projects at the bottom of your list, then you absolutely are being held back by the business model of one-on-one. Now, another sign that some people may resonate with, but not all, is that you actually want the opportunity to do more marketing for yourself and focusing on building that marketing and sales engine inside your business. You'd love to have the time to create a strategy, to map it all out and spend your days or more time than you are right now working on your business. Now, this is a really common thing that a lot of people feel like they don't have enough time to work on their business. And, some of you may be thinking, oh my God, there's no way I want to spend my days doing marketing, right? But actually, a lot of people I speak to would actually really love the opportunity to learn how to market their business really well, to actually spend more time putting content together, to spend the time to create that long-term content in terms of the educational content, that you would put into an online course, but you don't necessarily have the time to do that. So it could be that you're yearning to have the time to do that, but you just can't find it right now. That time's not going to pop out of anywhere, okay? You absolutely need to create the time. Now, another sign that your one-on-one work is holding you back, and I have touched on this previously, but this is like a little bit more specific, where you're spending a lot of time delivering your work outside of what you've quoted. So that's that scope creep that we've spoken about before. But this isn't always about just going above and beyond. It's also about travel. Like, are you traveling and seeing people in person? I have worked with a lot of people. In fact, I had a VIP strategy day with someone last week who was actually late to the strategy session because their one-on-one session that they were doing in person went over time, and then they didn't have enough time factored in for the travel back to their house so that we could actually start our session. And obviously they were gutted. They weren't that late. It wasn't much of a big deal, but it was timely. Like, it just really reminded me how all of these little things can creep in, and most people aren't getting paid for their travel time. So you're basically providing part of your service, the time that is required by you. Like, sure, you're just with the client for a certain amount of time, but if you stay overtime, they're not paying you for that. And then there's the travel time to and from, they're not paying you for that either. So that's all digging into your profits. There's also other ways that this could show up. It could be that you're having to then spend time, maybe if you're having coaching sessions and really you have priced it so that it's just for the time that you're on the call, and you haven't included prep time, any preparation that you might need to do, or any time creating resources for that person afterwards. Like, again, these are all things that you need to factor into your pricing. And if you haven't, you're literally giving your time away for free. And again, that is going to eat into your profits. So what this means is that you absolutely have an unscalable business because you're not even getting paid for the time that you are spending on delivering. So how are you meant to scale that? It's just not possible, right? Now, another sign is that you actually want to give up what you're doing, but you're the only person that you know that delivers these kind of services for an affordable price. And if you're not doing it, then how are these people actually going to find someone else to do it? Now, this seems like a bit of a strange one, I have to say, but I have had quite a few people say that this is in the back of their mind, right? If I don't do it, who else is going to do it? And then these people are going to be left out on a limb. Okay. Now, firstly, if there is no one else in the market delivering the kind of services that you offer for the affordable price that you offer it at, then it's probably for a good reason. Now, this is a clear sign that you are providing an unprofitable service, And that is the reason that no one else is doing it at such an affordable price, because it simply doesn't make good business sense. And you have built your business and you've had a few wins along the way and you've been successful, but you've got to the point where you've actually got a very unprofitable business that relies a lot on your time and energy and effort. And at this point, if you are wanting to get out of it, but you're not sure where these people are now going to go, then you are fully doing it out of obligation. And that is a recipe for disaster, in my opinion, because you're not going to be fulfilled. You are doing it for the benefit of someone else, but not at the benefit for yourself. Like, your business actually has to benefit you in a very large way, because it's not easy to run a business. Okay, so you absolutely get to create the business in your favor. And that is a mindset shift that I think I would have benefited from. And I did end up realizing that and going down that road. But if you are deep in the one-on-one provision of services right now, then absolutely you get to switch it so that you get to benefit from it as much as your clients. Now, the final sign that I have to share with you today, and this may seem like a bit of a strange one, and it kind of depends on your personality, I think, but this is one that I personally very much did experience. And I am someone that is quite empathetic, so I definitely can soak in other people's energy a little bit too much, and I'm very much used to be the type of person that would very much put myself last, and it did not work out well for me, which is why I completely switched business models and my life has never been better. But this sign is that you feel emotionally obligated to your clients, and that means that you let their perceptions, or sometimes you just make it up in your head, right? That you can't live and do and express yourself freely online in your business because you know they are watching. You can't show up freely on social media, marketing your own business because you know that your clients are watching you, and you feel like you should be working on their stuff, but they also feel like that, because something that's not spoken about much is that there are a lot of clients out there who will be paying you money and they almost feel like they own you, whether that's conscious or unconscious on their part. And it could be that you even feel like that, even if they don't feel like that. It's kind of like a really odd thing. And some of you will be thinking, this is so weird. Why are you even talking about this? But for others, you'll absolutely understand this, and it's a very real thing. If you feel like this, then you absolutely need to work on those boundaries. But also, this business model is not the business model where you're going to thrive, okay? And I had to learn that the hard way. It's almost embarrassing to admit that I used to feel like that, actually, but I very much did. Like, I remember thinking, I should be more up to date with my client work. I can't go on and market myself for more clients if I know my clients are watching me, because they'll be thinking, well, why haven't you done this for me yet? And when you've got ongoing clients who are on retainers like I did, then that very much can be the case. And I just found it so hard to keep up with all of the work, all of the marketing, that kind of thing. And I do not have that problem now that I've switched business models. And maybe that's just a me thing. But then a few days ago, I did actually see someone on Threads. I saw it on Threads, and they wrote something along the lines of, I learned a long time ago not to share anything from my personal life on my social media, because one time I shared that I was out skiing on a Saturday, and a client then replied to me and said, why are you doing that? You should be working on whatever it was, project for them. So that is, I guess, an illustration that there very much are clients who think that they have the right to tell you how to live your life if they're paying you. And like I said before, that's not something that we're willing to admit, but it is very much the case. And there are a lot of people who are very much like that as a consumer. They think they're paying someone for their time, then they literally can dictate what they do with their time, which is something that I'm very, very glad to be away from, to be honest. So if you are noticing that your clients are acting like that, then very much a sign that there's a better way. And if you are seeking approval from clients in terms of the way you show up on social media, when and where you market yourself, how you market yourself, all of that type of thing, you're not going to get that approval. They very much, no matter what, when they're paying you, it's a transactional relationship. And it doesn't matter how well you get along with them, how well you like them, how well they like you. There is always going to be the expectation. They are the ones paying you, therefore they have some kind of perception or expectation around what you do. You're not going to get approval from them. As far as they're concerned, they're paying you for a service and you just need to deliver it, right? Which is fair enough in some ways. There are clients who go above and beyond that, and that's really what I'm talking about. But as someone that is running a service-based business, you really need to step beyond that, and you need to be the leader of your own business. You don't have to answer to your clients at all. Sure, you need to deliver what you say you're going to deliver, but beyond that, there should not be any expectation, and you need to fully release that, which is going to take a lot of mindset work. You really need to do the work around that, the boundaries, the people pleasing. This is big work, but you also need to step into that leadership energy where you are, no, this is the way I run my business, and take it or leave it if you're a client. But also, if that is something that does not appeal to you, then absolutely a change in business model to a more hands-off business model is actually going to benefit you. I think there are personality types that absolutely thrive with a more online course or other digital product-based model. Running a service business is absolutely not for everyone. And if you are someone who just can't help but give your all at the detriment of yourself, then it is absolutely not the right business model. So if you've listened to this episode and you have resonated with some of these points, potentially all of them, I know that all of these I do resonate with at points in the past. Like I have resonated with them at points in the past. It's been true for me at some point. Some of them that don't resonate quite so much is probably that one around traveling. I cut that out really early because I know that if you're going to see someone else in their environment, it's very hard to leave on your schedule. So that's something I cut out straight away, but that is actually one that I've had a lot of clients had to deal with. And if you are traveling to see clients in person, I would try and move that onto Zoom, like to an online system as soon as possible, because that just completely removes the temptation to stay for a long time and you end up doing unpaid work. But anyway, if you have heard this and you're thinking, yes, I resonate with that, what should I do? Then I think you need to get really real with yourself, and you absolutely do not need to quit all of your one-on-one to go into a more leveraged business. It could be that you are going to actually find the time through boundaries, through better systems, or it could be that you are actually going to get rid of a certain amount of clients so that you then have the time to spend on building the online courses and the things that you really want in your business. Then you can do both at the same time. For some people, this is not going to work, okay? But for others, it is. So it really depends on you. But one thing that is true is that you need to get really real with yourself about what you truly want. And part of that is recognizing the business that is going to benefit you as much as it's benefiting everyone else. So what business do you truly want? And forget about everyone else for a second. Forget about what's going to serve those people who may not be able to find anyone else that does this, or serves your clients that have been working with you for years. Like, what do you want? That is something that you absolutely need to know. Now, it could be that you actually love doing this one-on-one work, but how are you going to grow from here? So if you do realize that you want to grow your business in its current form, but right now there's issues, then maybe it's time to get some boundaries, to put on your big girl pants and start to scale by finally hiring a team, by up-leveling your operations and creating amazing systems and growing that way. It absolutely can work. Okay, and maybe you've listened to this episode and be like, hold on, I love one-on-one services and that's where I'm going to go with this. Then that's great. But if you're going to scale, then you absolutely have to grow a team. For me, that wasn't what I wanted because that would mean that I'd spend my days managing people, growing a big operation. And operationally, I just didn't want to have that type of business. I wanted to have a business that gave me a lot more freedom, that allowed me to help a lot more people at scale. So if the idea of hiring a big team and having a lot of people to manage is not your cup of tea, then the logical next step is to start looking at creating a leveraged product in your business so that you can scale that way, so that you can get your time back. And it's not so much about time for money, but it's about actually being able to get in front of a lot more people with one product. So the first step there would absolutely be to create a signature online course and start launching it. Now, like I said before, you absolutely do not have to burn the boats and fully quit your one-on-one work like I did. You can ease out of one and into another. And it could be that you actually want to get way more strategic with your one-on-one so that you actually free up your time and energy so that you can have the time to work on a new revenue stream with an online course. Now, this could be really great with some people as well. For me, that just wouldn't work because my brain just isn't wired that way, but maybe you are able to do that. But it comes back to knowing what you truly want. So if you are serious about moving away from a purely one-on-one based business and you want to transition to a more scalable business model with online courses, then go and sign up for the Freedom Roadmap, where I share with you in 5 simple steps exactly how I made the transition from purely one-on-one work to an online course-based business and how I was able to go from busy, burnt out, booked out to that more scalable business model. So if you want to sign up for that, head over to loublakely.com/freedom and sign up now. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If any of those resonated with you, I'd love to hear more about it. Pop over to Instagram and send me a direct message. I am at @LouBlakely_. I would love to see you there. And I will also see you back here for a new episode very shortly. Thanks, course creators and go-getters. You're incredible. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit subscribe in your podcast app so you don't miss an episode. If you'd like to find out more about what I offer, head across to loublakely.com. See you next time.